All right, all right. Welcome today, everybody that's here with me. Listen, I got an extra special treat for you today. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it took me a long time to get this guy in the studio, but it's absolutely worth it once you hear what he has to say. Now, I'm gonna bring him on, let him introduce himself in a minute. But just to tell you, this is a very special topic for the entrepreneurs in the community. You know, I mean, he can say it better than I can say it, but we trying to do this thing on a larger level. And if you're trying to get your business or your lifestyle or your your company to the next level, this is absolutely where you want to be at. Now, today's show is called "How to Leverage a Global Community for Entrepreneurs." Right. So, I want to bring to you a very special close friend of mine. Man, he's going to tell you all about it. His name is Michael Klein. And just before I get into it with him, just to let you know, he's leveraging the global community for real. Like he's got a lot of beautiful things going on. He's a member of the Wilmington Lions United Lions Club, also the charter president. So listen, man thought they was dormant, but listen, this guy right here bringing it all the way to the forefront. And that's actually how we met because he's shaking it up in the community all over the place. Father of three, college athlete, absolutely went to one of the best schools I know of, DSU in the building. But he went to a couple places. But listen, my alma mater is his alma mater, man. And I just love to bring this guy on with you today. You know what I mean? And what he does is he teaches the principles by trade, and he's an urban educator, man. Really good guy. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing
Excellent.
awesome. I'm glad that you could be with me, man, and the people gonna love to hear your story, man. I loved it, and I just wanted to share with the good folk, the entrepreneur folk in the community, man, so we can let them know, what it's really hitting for on a bigger entrepreneur level, and just let them go. Now, before we get started, if you here with me live, hashtag live. If you here with me in a rebroadcast, hashtag rebroadcast. Depending on which form of social media that you on, like, comment, share, all this. We got a lot of good stuff going on. Mike, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing wonderful, man. I'm feeling great, invigorated, ready to talk.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Uh, Look like I don't know if we having little problems with the broadcast, but here we go. Now we back to the two shot. Okay, so just to get into it real fast with you, man. Would you mind telling us your backstory?
All right. Well, I'm an urban educator by trade. I consider myself an urban educator specialist. Um, Always looking at ways to broaden my network, different trials and tribulations I went through my life. I always found that using the network to expand what I'm doing to help me get where I'm going always help. What they say, what your network is what your net worth will be. So who you know will help you get you to where you want to go. And just saying that in part with Wilmington United Lions Club and being part of the Lions Club International, it's a global service community of 1.4 million members worldwide. So being part of that network, and the only goal of a lion is to serve. That's the motto. We serve, but it's your club. You serve in the way you would like to. Being part of that global network allows to expand your reach and get people on board on what you're trying to do, especially with using the tools of social media and the internet. So just starting from there, a little bit about myself. Born single parent, Philadelphia. Went on, got an opportunity to go to a boarding school in high school. I grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Went to an elite boarding school. I was a pretty good student athlete. It was not uncomfortable, but getting around those people just showed me a different way of life. I wouldn't say that it's better. It just broadened my horizons and let me meet other people. From there, from my efforts in high school, got a scholarship to college. A lot of trials and tribulations, got through and got my graduate degree from Delaware State University, the Delaware State University. I'm in
Awesome.
educational leadership.
Awesome.
I've been an urban educator my whole life. Always chose to work in underserved communities, with people, brown and black people like myself, and also students with special needs. I've always worked in that. That always, I think, God put that in my heart, for me to serve that community. Even when I didn't think I was always serving, and that's the correlation with the organization of Lions Club International, because there's a larger group that's doing that type of work that I was already doing, and a lot of people like myself do. Um, so that's a little bit about myself, where I'm going. But I worked in all up and down the East Coast, Philadelphia public schools, Wilmington. I did a lot of work. Worked at 2 schools as an administrator and as a dean. Eastside Charter School. I worked at Connections. I also worked in Pennsylvania at a special needs school and in Philadelphia School District, Trenton, New Jersey as well. In Chester High School, I worked 3 years as a principal of ninth grade academy at Chester High School. So I've done a lot of the work on hands ground, and it just always drove me to do something myself. Working in those systems, you have to play your role within the system. But my entrepreneurial pursuit came in when I started Impact Community Supports, and that's a prevention and social emotional learning nonprofit. I do that type of programming with students with no specific needs, because everybody needs character building. But that's my target audience, and the company, and my social entrepreneurship journey.
Okay, okay, that's cool, man. With the company that you created, what was your main desire that you wanted to create with that?
I always felt like, well, working up, my journey was long in education. I'm not an educator by trade. I was a social worker. Upon graduation, I had a business degree. So I always had that background with business. But I didn't know to use internships and whatnot to get into the company and do the type of business that I wanted to do with other people's businesses. So I started out with customer service, and I just couldn't be on phones. So that degree wasn't really working for me. But people knew that I coached basketball and I had a way with children. And someone asked me to start, be a social worker up in Philadelphia at DHS. So I worked in that realm for several years, and I had someone else, just through my network, through connections, and through the meetings I held, representing children's and foster care in educational settings. Someone said, "You'll be a great special education teacher." So I took a job being a special education teacher. Did that for about 4 years. Took a step outside of the classroom to like middle management. So I was the disciplinarian, the dean of students. But my way of handling discipline wasn't a hard line. It was more about teaching the skills that students were missing. So using that social work background enabled me to be a great manager of not only individuals, but helping students manage themselves. And I got a little push, and they said, "Well, why don't you go back to school?" And that's when I went to DSU to get my principal certification. And that's how I became a principal. And that's
Awesome.
that's what made me start ICS, Impact Community Supports, because finding out sitting in that seat as a principal, there's still a lot of red tape, because it is a system, there's rules. So I wasn't able to meet the needs of the students in the way that I saw fit. So therefore, as we all know, if you want to do something the way you want to do it, you have to do it yourself. And that's what inspired me to start Impact Community Supports.
That's awesome, man. Tell me, as you were starting ICS, what kind of external struggles did you deal with, like, on the physical level?
I would say finding a place of operations. I had to open my mindset, because, you can't let the lack of something stop you in your journey of being an entrepreneur. But that's when I found out, and it was during COVID when I really had this epiphany. It was like, Mike, you got to do this yourself. What can you do? Because I really love the school. With children, I'm really about like their social emotional health and growing them up, because I think that really impacts them being better students. So one barrier was having a physical location. But then with using, Zoom and technologies like we're on right now, I looked at that as an opportunity to use those as a strategy to reach the population I wanted to serve. So that was a big one at first. I couldn't wrap my mind around. I didn't have the money to rent a place. If you want to do a program, you usually need a space, or you have to partner with somebody. So it's twofold. So using the internet, using software like Google Meet and Zoom to be able to run the program, but then also using the leverage groups with the Lions and creating partnerships with like libraries and other social service agencies. Now I have the space through partnerships and using the alliance through the Lions Club.
Cool, cool, cool. Absolutely. What were some internal struggles that you had to deal with, maybe mentally, putting this big show together?
Well, I would say just keeping the mindset of just the struggle of, the comfort of the paycheck, of having a job and having responsibilities of my own with the family life, and then being able to find the time and putting in the work to be able to start your own business. And that's was my internal struggles. A lot of people doubt you, especially with the career line I have with being a principal. It's a well-paying job, so people look at you funny, like when you want to step away from that, like what's wrong with that? That's the trade you're supposed to do. So it was, I guess that's external, but then internally having the fortitude to be able to still, in the balance, the mental fortitude to still go to job every day for 40 hours a week. Being a principal is like a 60-hour job, but at the same time, finding those 2 hours a day to pour into what you want to do in your dream. So that was just, having the withal, using meditation. I use a lot of positive mind state. I do a lot of self-talk to keep myself focused and to achieve the goal.
Awesome. While creating impact community support, what was the wall or the major problem that you hit that made you actually start this journey? Like, you was doing a lot of things, and as an entrepreneur, something sometimes just snapped and make you say, I'm going over here to do this.
I would say it was COVID. It was during COVID when I actually started the company, the very beginning. Just looking at the state of the world, seeing and during that time of COVID, I was working at Chester High School and seeing how the students were struggling, not even like with the academics. For me, I think, knowing yourself, know thyself is more important. It can influence being a student. Let me backtrack a little. I would say what I figured was being a student is a role. Like in life, there's roles you have to take on. But in order to be a student or to get the students to learn the information nowadays, you have to get to know them as a person. So I'm very person-centered. And I saw that was a big gap that was missing. Some people are taught at home, go to school, you get your education, it's important. But if that's not taught at home, you have to understand what you need to get out of going to school or getting out of whatever program you're a part of. And that's just knowing yourself and knowing what interests you and what inspires you as an individual. So with COVID, it was in my face every day. Children weren't Zooming in. Parents were disconnected, everyone. So I was like, what can I do and what do I really think is most valuable? I do think education is important, but I think the person has to understand that first. So that's what really push me to start Impact Community Sports. I wanted to reach the youth and help them find out who they are so that they can be good students or whatever role they want to be good at whatever they want to be. But the first thing, you have to know yourself.
Got to know yourself. Right. Absolutely. Self-talk is a good one, man. Self-talk is a good one. A lot
affirmations, all that.
Affirmations, all that, man. People ask me every day, how you stay on track, man. I tell myself what I need to hear so I can get it going. Man, you're a smart guy. So what was the epiphany that you came to? Like, what made you discover, what was the new vehicle that you discovered, and how'd you come upon that?
Well, through those trials and tribulations, during those COVID years and trying to balance everything out, I think the epiphany was a friend of mine is actually a Wilmington entrepreneur, Conscious Connections. I'll give them a shout out. He has an urban garden over on 23rd Street, right on the north side of the city. And it's been there for over 10 years. The thing was, we all used to work at Eastside Charter School. It was about 4 or 5 brothers. Give another shout out to Teron Warren with his barbershop.
T. Warren in the building.
T. Warren. Yeah, we all worked together as educators.
Okay.
But my guy Matthew Williams with Conscious Connections, he stuck with his plan, and now to this day is still there, is still serving the community. He owns a couple houses on the blocks, providing low income housing, and it kind of inspired me. That was that epiphany, like, don't quit on it. Like, you started it, Mike. You had this great idea. You can't quit. You got to have intestinal fortitude. Like when I used to coach basketball all the time, tell my kids, you need intestinal fortitude. Well, you have to have that same stamina as you pursue your entrepreneurial pursuits. And that's what made me push through and say, I'm gonna get this done. But another I wouldn't say it was an obstacle, was a hurdle, was figuring out the complete mission of ICS. The epiphany was that the work that I do, labeled from the government and has been iconed as prevention work. I always looked at like education, because I'm an educator by trade. And I knew, since I'm a principal, I know the budget. So when I was approaching people trying to sell my program, school leaders, they're like, we don't have the money. We don't have the money. But I knew there was money, but they didn't want to spend it with me or per se what I was selling them. But coming to the realization through meeting people through my network at the Lions, that the type of work that I'm doing with students is considered prevention work. And that helped me rebrand. And that was the epiphany, that the work I'm doing with helping kids understand who they are and build up their character and their social skills so that they could be successful in life is considered prevention. And now there's a whole different path that I'm able to go on and find funding, and the conversations are different with not only schools, but a larger array of providers who need my service.
Isn't it awesome when you figure out the correct word, man, to get people on board with you? You've been here all along, but it's just kind of tweaking it to get them to see your point of view. That's awesome. Yep. So what was the plan that you created to achieve your desires?
Well, I started with I had a small business plan, but then I just went and got it. I used the internet as a tool. Went and did the paperwork for ICS mostly on my own. I didn't hire out a lawyer or anyone to do the paperwork, but I did use my network. This happened not to be Lions, but it was a coworker of mine that found out that he writes grants and he does a lot of nonprofit work, and he really helped me out with getting my 501c3 paperwork in, and getting my board together, make sure I had my meetings, even when I wasn't generating business, to keep on with. So when things do hit, and when they have hit, that all my paperwork and everything was in line. Just the nonprofit game is a little different. There's a little more, when people fund your initiative, they want to make sure that your board and all of these other things, where if you're for profit, don't really come into play. So that was just, again, using my network and being a good person in general. People looked like they wanted to help me, or they knew information that I didn't know.
Okay, I understand. Did you run into any conflicts setting up the nonprofit along the way?
I wouldn't say conflicts per se, but I would say I think the hurdles that I mentioned earlier, not really conflicts, but I would say just certain hurdles like language, understanding the market, I think those things were in conflict. And I will say, to answer the question, one conflict was the internal struggle with being able to find the time to make time to pursue my dreams, knowing that I have a well-paying job to provide for my family. So I would say that's the conflict, and conflict with family members, on what my vision is and my dreams. Sometimes it's better not to share everything and to keep it to yourself so people can't kill. And that was a hard lesson I had to learn. Kill your dreams, because you're sharing out, you're excited, but everybody else won't hold that same energy to help you get you where you're going.
Absolutely. As a farmer, sometimes you got to protect the crop, man. Yeah. And that's very, very, very important. I would have never made it here today where I'm at, man, if I had just planted the seeds and walked off. So I definitely know, so I can understand that. So what was the end result? How did it turn out?
Well, it's going pretty well right now. I have a couple grants on the table with the federal government, substance mental health federal department, and some prevention grant for alcohol and opioid addiction to try to prevent that with teen and youth in Delaware,
Mhm.
the drug-free community grant, and also I'm looking to partner with the DVR with students with special needs from grades 7 through 12 and provide them with life skill training and transition planning to help schools and students with their transition plannings. So those are some of the things I have on the table right now, right here in Wilmington, that we have going. So things are going well. I think what came into play but really helped my business and my mindset in turn was the networking with the Lions Club, because the organization has about 8 global initiatives. And what I found is a lot of people in our circle, well, that were in my circle, they're already doing service. Lions Club International has 1.4 million members worldwide, all based around service. It's a nonpartisan group. They have no government affiliations, although they're the first organization that partnered with the UN, where I was able to go to Nairobi last February as a part of a conglomerate from Wilmington, from Delaware Lions, that went over there to serve over 20,000 Kenyans on a 10-day mission.
Nice.
So being hooked up in that type of network, it allowed me to meet the people where I learned how to use the language of what you're doing is prevention work. I learned other educators who are teachers but have their own companies. They're entrepreneurs as well. So the target market for my Lions Club, which I started under the guidance of Daniel. He's a Lion out of Bellevue Community Center. He brought me in. He gave me the opportunity and inspired me to start a club in downtown Wilmington to reach our people in the city proper, based off of mostly service providers, people in the nonprofit game, teachers, lawyers, things of that nature that want to serve and give back, but using that network with their entrepreneurial pursuits to grow their business as well, to expand their network. At the event where I saw you and we met, we partnered with the library. So our home base is out of the Wilmington Library in downtown Wilmington. We have our own room, and that's a godsend. Wow. So not only through there, ICS is a partner. If your business is a partner and you're a Lion, you can use that space. It has 14 computers. The internet is there because it's a public space, and we have access to that during the normal operation hours of the library. So using that network in the name of Lions with all our community support and our entrepreneurial pursuits to grow our businesses, but also to impact the community in a positive way. So it's more or less like a guild. I feel like it's a guild. If that's what I do when I talk about the Lions, we can join a bigger organization, leverage their resources and their reach to help us when we're doing on the ground, because there's so many people doing good things, service providers, workers in the government, in the city, that aren't using a unified approach, because we are competing for business, but at the same time, we're all trying to help. So doing this, it just brings more unity, and that's the name Wilmington United.
That's what it's all about, bringing everybody together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was the transformation you experienced, coming from where you came from to where you at?
I would say being the principal and sitting in that role helped me to be able to work with different types of people and to be a leader. I think that's what really prepared me when I went into the nonprofit journey. Really knowing how to speak to the audience that I have. I'm much more adept. Having self-control, knowing how my body language speaks to the crowd and the people around me, but also being able to clearly articulate the goal or the mission that I'm trying to accomplish. So I think I took great strides. I think I'm a natural born leader. I was a point guard when I played basketball. Made a lot of decisions, but being able to transition that into the business world, it just took it to another level. And I think all my life experiences led me up into the point now where I was able to do with Lions, with Wilmington United, be able to say, okay, I'll start something new from the ground up. And ICS is the same thing, starting something new from the ground up. It's one thing managing somebody else's business, because basically you're filling a role. But when you're creating something, you have to be able to know and be able to at least do a lot of everything or understand it so you can find the right pieces to make the business operate. So I think that's been the biggest transformation, being able to select talent and also being able to manage multiple initiatives at once.
That's awesome, man. You created a lot of stuff, man, because like you said, just having a place to operate, to be able to conduct your business and things of this nature. That's a lot of things that hold the entrepreneurs of today back. And when they can't see it, a lot of them quit.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's
And that
real
was through
good.
the network. And that was really through the network where I actually have a physical location to do programming at no cost. But that's because I'm part of a bigger organization. Now, if I would have went as ICS to the library and said, "This is what I want to do, and I want to use your space," I highly doubt that it would have happened. But being part, the women's library is like, oh, Lions Club International. Oh, you know the work they have, commercials, the work they do. You see the signs on the highway. Oh, we want to be affiliated. And the motto of our club is that we're a coalition club. So we are looking for entrepreneurs. We are looking for business people throughout the city to join to represent their club. So everybody now that's a member of Women's United has access to that space, as do I. So it that's just showing the power of networking to help grow what you're doing. But it's all because your heart's in the right place and you're trying to give. And then it's just part of this, the law of attraction. When you give, you get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to make a lot, man. No other way but to help a lot of people.
Exactly. And it'll
Absolutely.
happen. It will.
You
Yeah.
never happen. Look, for the people that's watching us now, hashtag live if you're hearing the live, hashtag rebroadcast if you're watching this in the rebroadcast. Like, comment, share this broadcast. There's a lot of good information been dispensed today. Mike, if the people want to get down with impact community support specifically, how can they do that?
You can go on Facebook. We have a page, Impact Community Supports. I also have my email is mmccline, MMCCLINE at impactcommunitysupports.org. Those are the best way. We also have, if you go to Google and put in Impact Community Supports, our website is up on Google. So you can find us through Googling or, put in impactcommunitysupports.org and our website will come up. Same thing for Wilmington United Lions Club. We have a Facebook page, and we have a Facebook page. And if you Google Lions Club International, you can find out more information about the global organization.
One last question, man. You're more than welcome to stay and say whatever it is you got on your mind, but tell the people the value of leveraging a global community of entrepreneurs before we go.
All right. So I would say some of the things I mentioned in today's our interview and our going back and forth, a lot of the growth that I've had over the last, I would say, year and a half was because of the efforts of mine to join an organization. It's almost like a fraternity. I didn't see the value of fraternities in college. I was what they called me. I had a lot of guys that were Qs, and they used to call me a GDI, an individual. And I was, but I used to hang with them, but I would do my own thing. But having using that network and a group of people that are like-minded, then you have more doors open. There's more opportunities. You have opportunities of learning and also opportunities to help others. So just being able to connect with a global organization, I was able in the last year. I've never left the continental United States. I've been to Bahamas or whatnot, but it still was in this hemisphere. I was able to go to Kenya through the network. So that was leverage. And going there to do the work that we're doing here in Wilmington. When I was there, I met so many people from across the United States and from across the world. And I got to tell them about Wilmington, Delaware, and the work that we're doing. And then people follow and they see the work we're doing. They would have never known. So making connections, making those partnerships, finding organizations that are with like-minded individuals that have a bigger reach can only help bring light and expound on the work that you're doing. And I think that's what we're talking about today, and that's what I've done. And I think that everybody could be a part of this in our general vicinity. I mean, our reach is going so far. that we have members from Philadelphia and Chester, PA, that are members at Wilmington United because of the work we're doing. And they just want to do their work. They want to be a part of something. But then meeting those people, they tell me what they're doing in their community and are inviting other people from that community to know me. So now my reach is even growing. So it's good to use networks to leverage what you're doing if you're going with the right mindset and knowing just making those connections and make sure that your mission is aligned with the group that you're joining. If you're going to join a group, make sure that your mission is the same so that there won't be any misconceptions or unalignment.
Before we go any further, man, the home entrepreneur would just like to give a shout out to everybody in Kenya, man, because we do a lot of stuff with the people over there, man. So that I really thought that was awesome. I really thought that was awesome. You ain't lying though, man. Connections are everything. Connections are definitely everything. Sometimes it's about who you know, and who can get you into the doors that you want to, who can get you the keys to the doors that you want to open, man. So that's great. That's great. Seems like you've made a lot of strides, man. You've helped a lot of people, man. We just want to congratulate you. Just me personally, man, you was a very impressive dude when I met you for the first time. And I said, look, man, I got to get you on the show.
Appreciate it. It's great meeting you. You keep doing your thing. And hopefully you'll be joining Women's United soon.
Absolutely. I got plans on it. I definitely got plans on it. I'm gonna actually click the link when we get off, man, because I'm feeling like I'm probably slighting myself. I need to be down. I'm a service provider. I love
You are definitely in that network. And the thing about another thing, just to expound on with Lions Club International in North America is where it started. We all know when you think of Lions, most people think of older white males that are in Lions Club. Right. But the way they went about it was like, join our club. But what my motto is, let's partner in partnership with. So whatever you're doing, let's partner with the Lions. Let's partner with Wilmington United first. And then from our club, we'll partner with these other 1.4 million people worldwide that you're able to partner with. Doesn't matter religion, race, color, creed, because you're aligned. So whatever service you're providing, if they need it, they know you do it, then they will probably come to you first or open doors for you to another population that you can serve. So come on, I'll be happy to have you as part of the team. It'd be great.
Man, I'll be happy and blessed. Shout out to Kim Curry. Together we can. Absolutely. That's definitely the message.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
Together we can do it. Absolutely, bro, man. We appreciate your time. Anything else you'd like to get to viewers before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just remember, keep the main thing the main thing. And for me, that's service and also action, not words. Acting, non-verbal. Those are our club's mottos, and I live by those. Action, not words. So a lot of people talk, but it's about what you do.
It's about what you do. It's about what you do. Got to leave impact on the community. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it.
Yep.
Got to be about it.
Exactly.
Man, we like to thank you, man. And if I didn't say it before, we love that you're an athlete because you ain't afraid to shoot your shot, man. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. You can't be scared. And if you miss, learn from it. It ain't a failure. You just learn from it.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate your time, man. Hopefully in the future, man, you could come back on and give us some more words of encouragement, man. And, keep up on us and let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. And everybody have a great day. You as well.
Before you leave, give us one more time. Let them know how to get in touch with you.
Okay. M. McCline, MMCCLINE at impactcommunitysupports.org. On Facebook, it's Impact Community Supports. You can also go to Wilmington United Lions Club on Facebook and also our webpage. If you Google Impact Community Supports, you'll be able to find me that way as well.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate your time.
All right. You too. Have a good one.
Salute, man. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.